Yeah, so the first thing that the students are going to see prior to logging into the system, obviously, is an enrollment email. And as you saw in the previous part of the demonstration, Chan created an account or created an order and had one of the keys actually emailed to myself. And as you can see, it's here. So the student typically has the option of enrolling as either a new student or a returning student. You can see here's the access key here. When they are enrolling onto the DevOps Institute portal for the first time, they're going to obviously want to enroll as a new student. So with their very first course that they're going to get, they're going to enroll as a new student and they'll create an account and get access to that first piece of content. If they're an existing student, they've already enrolled in a course or two and they get additional courses or they purchase additional material, they're going to get their access key, but they don't have to create a new account every time. They just can go ahead and log in as a returning student. So I'm going to jump over to the website. And you can see here's the DevOps site. And let me enroll as a new user. We ask for very basic information in order to create an account. Typically, it's your email. We have you create a username, your first name, last name, a password, and then we ask you to create a challenge question to so that in case you need to reset your password. So I'm just going to go and create. I'm going to create, this will be, create my username. Okay, go ahead and sign in. And you can see, so the user account and everything was created. The system has let us know that your user was successfully created as well as you were enrolled in your first course and now you have access to your first course. So at this point now that access key is no longer valid. It's been marked as redeemed because obviously the student has now created the account and then they now have access to the course. So the key doesn't have any use or any value anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign in. And here you go. So once you're signed in, you're going to see access to your first course. And as I mentioned, if you've already enrolled before, you'll see access to not only just the first course, but you'll see additional tiles that'll show you subsequent courses that you have access to. The way that we grouped everything and all the products is we wanted to try to make everything in the system underneath a tile so that you have all your certified agile process owner content. It's underneath that tile. If you do DevOps Foundation, all the content would be underneath that tile and so on, because we wanted to group all the material together so that you can easily just click and get access to all the content. So once you figure out what course you want to see the content for, you just go ahead and click on the tile. And it's also very touch friendly. So if you're on a tablet, you can just point and touch and it'll take you right in also. The way that we organize the courses are essentially the content is on the left-hand side, and then any sort of porting material or additional links or content outside of the system is on the right-hand side. One of the pieces that obviously most students are going to want to be interested in seeing is obviously the learner manual or the student guide. So, whoops, I logged out just a sec there. Sorry about that. Let me log back in. There we go. And so the first thing that the student's going to be interested in seeing obviously is the book or the learner guide or their learner manual. We offer the learner manual for students in two formats or two modalities, if you will. One is a modality that's a browser-based or it's an online-based version of the book. It paginates exactly the same way that a PDF or a printed book would, because we use the source material is the PDF itself or what we would use for printing. So it's essentially the same as the printed book, just kind of pulled into the browser and you can view it online. the nice thing about it is that you can make notes, you can take bookmarks, you can do highlights, and you can do other things to kind of mark up the book, and it's saved with your account. So all of these kind of notes and bookmarks and highlights, they're all saved server side, so that the student, after they go to class at the training center, or if it's at on their location of their corporation, when they go back home, they log in, they can see all those notes and highlights there. We also offer, for a little more of a transportable version, we also offer the PDF version. And what that is essentially, again, the same thing as the online version. It uses the book that the source material that we use for printing as the material for the electronic version. And then we just serve it up in a PDF. And this also, again, is great because very similar to the electronic material, the instructor can tell you to go to page 6, and you're on page 6. You still have the ability to, you can still like add highlights, add notes and things like that. You can also print out a page, and it'll print with a little watermark, but it does allow the student to print the book out just for themselves. It's just the one copy for themselves, but they are allowed to print that out if they do prefer a hard copy to have for themselves. Going back, we also have additional supporting material that's been posted to the site also. So there's a glossary that almost every course will have a DevOps glossary of terms. And it's essentially supporting material served up very similar to the PDF, where it'll let you print it out. It'll have a watermark on it. We also watermark it with the user's name also at the bottom to let the user know that that's their material. And so we post, again, not only the glossary, but there's additional resources that are posted, such as the exam requirements. There's some additional resources to help the student out, as well as there's a sample exam that's posted that will allow the student to kind of go through and have a quick test or a quick look at a sample of what an exam would be like. Also posted to the site is a lot of supporting material or supporting links on the other side. And that's a lot of that is going to take us off to either stuff outside of the system, either on DevOps site. So for example, if you want to become a member, you can click there and it'll take you to the community site, and you can go ahead and log in and become a member there, as well as there's links to their YouTube, Facebook, their Twitter accounts, and so on. There's a link to their events page, their FAQs and tips and tricks, and so on. Almost all of the DevOps Institute content has all of these tiles. There might be a little different mix and match depending on the particular course. So you might get, for example, a couple other pieces of additional resources in DevOps Foundation that you might not get in Agile Process Owner. So you might get a little bit here or there, but for the most part, all the content is the same, or I should say the layout is the same. So some other pieces to just let the students know what they can do. They have a link to their account. So at any point they can change their password if they want to. They can load up their photo if they want to. As well as when you're not in the system, if you ever have any need to update your password, you can go ahead and click the update your password link. And that's going to go ahead and that'll go through that challenge question that we created when we created the account. It'll take you through that process, and it'll actually let you change it online. If for some reason the student forgot their username at all, so then they can go ahead and they can click forgot their username, and that'll send an email to the email address that was associated when the account was set up.